Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening depending on where you are in this amazing world. My name is Donovan Jolly and welcome everybody once again for another amazing video of DIY investing. The markets have really exploded the last couple days. Bitcoin has started pumping and it's dragging all of the altcoins up with it. Many of the altcoins are up from anywhere from 5 to 10% and some even higher than that. And it's showing a lot of opportunity throughout the market for insane profits. Today I wanted to dive in, share with you guys some amazing analysis with XRP. This has been one of my favorite cryptocurrencies for a long time now. And I wanted to go over and make sure that we're all on the same page with everything that I'm expecting moving forward. Is XRP and the rest of the cryptocurrency market about to start breaking out and start heading closer to $1? Or is this just a bull trap before we actually fall to a new low? I'm going to be covering all of my thoughts and perspectives in this video, so make sure that you guys stay to the very end because I promise you're not going to want to miss out on any of this exciting information. If you're new and just finding this channel, always remember to do myself a favor by leaving a like, comment, and subscribing to this channel for more updates. Make sure you guys click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos like the one provided for you here. Remember guys, I also have an amazing Discord community with over 5,000 members. We're already getting close to 6,000, and so this thing is really blowing up so quick, and I'd love to have you guys all a part of this. It's totally free for anybody to join. All you got to do is click in the description of this video, and there you're going to find the invitation link. Now with that being said, I also offer some of my more exclusive content like my video course and signals. The video course is an excellent resource for you new guys getting involved with crypto that want to start learning all of my specific strategies in which I use to profit. So if you're somebody that's been interested in learning how to start day trading and be a profitable cryptocurrency analyst in the space, you guys are definitely going to want to check out the course. Now the signals are actually an excellent way for you guys to copy all of my investments that I'm taking over the course of this next cycle, all of my long-term portfolio with exact percentages of what I've allocated to each, as well as any of my short-term swing trades with or without margin. You guys are definitely going to want to check this out because it's an amazing way for you guys to profit. With the markets popping off like this, it really is a good idea to jump in on this so that you guys know exactly what to do long term. Make sure that you guys smash that like button as well. Help me get to my goal of 1,000 likes for this video. I know that my community is the best one in all of cryptocurrency and you guys are amazing and are always showing so much love and support. So make sure you guys smash up that like button and let's get ready for this amazing market cycle that's ahead of us. With all that being said, thank you guys so much for the support. I know a lot of exciting things are happening. We're all making money together. So without further ado, let's jump right in this amazing analysis today. Alrighty guys, so here we are taking a look at XRP. Now I want to talk about how I'm structuring this video today, so if you guys are actually wanting to know what to expect further down in this content, I'm going to be talking about XRP, I'm going to be taking a look at the dollar pairs, I'm also going to be taking a look at the Bitcoin pairs, and then I'm going to be finishing up by talking about Bitcoin because I think that Bitcoin is really the most important talking point of what we need to be considering because that is what's driving the value. So if you guys want to see my Bitcoin analysis, make sure that you stay to the end so that you can see all of my thoughts and perspectives. Now here we are guys taking a look at XRP on the dollar. XRP on the dollar was really one of these leaders into this recent pump that we're seeing. Bitcoin's up at about $8,800 right now as we speak, and XRP is currently sitting at just under 23 cents. And so this one has been doing really well over the last week. This one is actually doing really well over the last day, and the reason for this is very similar to what I updated you guys with in my last video. In my last video, what I said was this was a major support and resistance flip. Let's label this one green. This was a support and resistance flip. Basically, these were the primary lows of the new year. We impulsed and then we sold through those. Since we sold through this was a confirmed lower low, and we were going to be bearish until we could actually reclaim this level, and that's exactly what we did. In the last video of XRP, I told you guys that since we reclaimed this level, I was expecting an impulse, and I figured that that impulse would take us upwards of about 24 cents, which is about right here. And that's still what I'm going to be watching out for. I think that we do still have enough momentum to take us up to this level. And I really wouldn't be surprised if we ended up getting up to even this 25 cent level up here. Really, this range is going to be the ones that I'm watching for because I think that there's a lot of demand in this. I think that there's a lot of resistance in this area, and this is where we would see a short-term correction. And so this is what I'm going to be watching out for with XRP on the short term. On the short term, we can still correct and we can still keep going up, but one thing we got to pay attention for with all that being said is really our descending resistances. Now, one of the things I wanted to point out to you guys today is the fact that the XRP downtrend is showing a lot more like the sellers are dying out. And I'll explain why through trend lines. Now, this was the first real downtrend that we had aside from this bubble popping. This was really the first time we started getting rejected and making lower lows. And this is exactly the downtrend that we made. Obviously, around September of 2018, we broke outside of that. And then we started a new downtrend in its place. And so if we take the cycle high from there, so if we take the high of that move and then we draw it all the way through here, we're going to see that we've actually created a secondary descending resistance. And both of these have had reactions. The first one had a reaction of 1, twice, and then we broke out on the third. This one has been reacted once, twice, and 3 different times. And now we're actually looking like we have the potential to be coming back up and retesting that. Now, a retest of this descending resistance would take us really close to that 30-cent support floor, which would actually make a lot of sense. In my opinion, what we need to see happen next for XRP is we do need to break from this descending resistance, but we also have this horizontal support that needs to be broken as well. And let's actually take this to a monthly time frame so it's a little bit easier to see here. Let's drop it to a log scale. Now, this is going to be the horizontal support level that I'm drawing, and that's going to take us right here. And that's going to be, just right at 30 cents. This is now a major resistance level. We can see that we have our descending resistance here and here, and we also have this descending resistance, or we actually have this horizontal resistance right here as well. And this is at 30 cent. We can see that when we sold through this level, we got rejected right here. We sold through again, we got rejected again right here. And then we sold through once more. And so we really have to reclaim that area. And that's going to be the real area in which I'm going to watch out for. Let's go back to a regular scale. Let's take a look here. This is basically the resistance level. It's right at 30 cents approximately. We can see that we've been rejected off of it a number of different times. And so for XRP to really prove that it's going to be bullish, we need to break from this descending resistance here. The apex of that would come, about 29 cents, right around that 30-cent mark. And so if we can break out of this descending resistance, I think that it's going to set us up for a possible break of this horizontal resistance as well. So who knows, maybe we get up here, kind of sell off a little bit, and then we get that break. As long as we can chill out or up on the support of the 30 cent, that's going to set us up for a pretty big parabolic move. And in my opinion, that would set us up for closer to about 60 cents. And so that's what I'm going to be watching out for with XRP. Realistically, it's time that we start really paying attention to these markets due to the fact that we're starting to see a lot of other ones starting to take off. I mean, we've already seen this with Chainlink and with Tezos. If you guys look at DigiByte's actually been doing exceptionally well, and I think it's the biggest performer out of the top 100 right now. I could be wrong on that, but I do believe it's definitely outperforming the majority of the market right now. And we need to pay attention to these because the ones that are showing strength right now are going to be the ones that see the bulk rise of these parabolic moves. And with XRP is always kind of a laggard. That's just the way it goes. It usually lags behind, and then it's kind of the last one to really make a big rise. And so that's why I do keep some, is because it is a top performing altcoin, but at the same time, it's kind of one of those laggards. You'll make a bunch of money off of your other altcoin investments, and then XRP will pump and you'll make money off of that. And so for me, guys, we really just need to watch out for these levels. We have this 30-cent level right here. We have this descending resistance. Really, we have to clear above both of these realistically. They both kind of converge around that same exact point. And so that's really good. It gives us a solid trading plan to kind of follow off of. It's not really complicated. We're just looking for a couple basic levels. And so, I mean, this is the thing that we're going to have to watch out for. So just make sure that we're paying attention to that. Now, next up is going to be XRP on the Bitcoin pair, because I think this is pretty important as well. Now, one of the things I've been kind of updating you guys with is there is the potential that these altcoin Bitcoin ratios could fall to one more low. And, right now with what we're seeing in XRP, there's a big reason that I want to update you with this chart specifically because, we're at this point where we could really go either or way. And so I really wanted to share with you guys some perspective in which I'm considering here. Now, let's zoom in here. What I've updated you guys with in times past is mainly just the fact that, this move from all the way over here to here is an exact fractal market cycle of this. It's all the same thing. You can see the 2 peak pumps. We get the same thing here in this long, slow, drawn-out retrace, right? And this is basically the way that these Bitcoin pairs like to cycle. Now, one thing I wanted to update you guys with, and this is my case, this is the bullish case for XRP BTC right now. Basically, what we've had for a significant portion of time is this bullish divergence on the RSI. And we're seeing 2 different forms of this. Really, the first time we started getting this was right here. And from that point, we've even maintained another higher high on this momentum oscillator. And so with this momentum showing this major bullish divergence, since right here, this is a pretty big one. We're on a weekly time scale. The bigger the time frame in which you see these divergences, the higher the probabilities that it's actually going to play out. And so it's important to note that we're seeing this big bullish divergence forming on the RSI. We're having lower lows in price. We're having a failure attempt to break lower on the RSI momentum indicator. And so that's a really bullish sign. And that's really what you want to see. Now, a bearish scenario here, let's dive in. I think I wanted to share with you guys the bullish scenario because anytime you see such a strong divergence playing out like this, especially on a weekly time frame, more often than not, it's going to play out in that way, which in this case, it's bullish. So that's kind of what I'm going to be watching out for. Keep in mind, guys, it is possible that we could have a short-term reaction that takes us back up to here. Maybe we do something like this. We pump up, and then we sell for a new low. That's also a possibility. It's also a possibility that, right here, we kind of impulse. Probably looks something like this, honestly. We impulse to here, we sell back down, and then we reclaim this level before going higher on up. And then the next thing I'd be watching for is the potential that this is really just a descending triangle, and we're about to sell through that right about where we're at right now. And in that case, that would take us just about perfectly to the bottom of this, which would be an end target of about 1,500 sats approximately. And so for XRP, this is going to be what I'm watching out for. I think that overall, the way that we're sitting, we're kind of just in no man's land. We have the resistance up here. We have the support down here. Let's actually label this green. And we're just kind of contracting, and we are making lower highs in this triangle. So for me, if I had to say what my ultimate expectation is, I don't say that I have one because we're getting a lot of kind of we're getting a lot of mismatching signals. On one hand, we do have this major bullish divergence that's forming. On the other hand, we do have what appears to be a descending triangle forming. We're not really at resistance. We're not really at a major support level either. We're just kind of oscillating between the two. And so for me, it's kind of a no trade zone. For spot buys, it doesn't matter necessarily because for spot buys, I just buy and then I hold for the long term. And so it's not super, it doesn't matter so much as far as what price is happening on a shorter time frame. If it goes down a little bit, so be it. These are my long-term holds. And so if I was day trading this, I'd wait for the breakdown of this descending triangle, or I'd wait for the break of the descending resistance, and then I'd aim to go long up to this resistance up here at about 4,300 Satoshis. And so for me, guys, this is what I'm going to watch out for with XRP. Either way, I do believe we're coming to the terminal end of this correction. And the reason why I think that we could go for one more low compared to just bouncing now is roughly the same reason for this last cycle as well. We can see that at this cycle here, we kind of started uptrending, and then we sold off for one more low. And that low actually took us to the very bottom of the original sell-off from the first pump. So this was the first pump. We sold off. The low of that took us to the second pump. And then after we topped from the second pump, the very bottom of that second pump retrace takes us to the very bottom of the previous one. And so I'm wondering if we're going to play out similarly to what we saw in times past, where we need to come back down and retest the low of the first pump. So the first pump, the low of that, same right here. I think we may need to come back down and retest that. But even if we do, guys, percent return, yes, it's going to be a little bit of a drop. I bet it's like 30%. Yeah, 40%. So it's a decent sized drop. And that's why it's important that, if you're here for the long term, it's important that you're not getting shaken out if it does dump. You're accepting that it can go down so that if it does, you're not so worried about what to do next. But if you're somebody that's not willing to take the risk, you're seeing this as kind of a no trade zone. Obviously probably now's the time to hedge your investment before the dump or just to set a stop loss beforehand. But that's really the analysis that I want to talk about with XRP. Overall, there's a lot of cool things to play out. As soon as we break out of this descending resistance, it's game over for the bears, and we're going to start that initial impulse to, honestly, guys, I believe that we're going to see $1 XRP by the end of this year, which would take us to about right here. Let's actually label this green. This is our target here. So I think that we'll finish at about $1 per XRP by the end of this year. And we're just starting that slow grind. I'd like to see that. This is the bullish case. Obviously, if we can fail to clear above this descending resistance or this 30 cent mark, you guys know what's going to happen. The same thing that's happened every single impulse. we fall lower. And it's happened pretty much every single time up to this point. And so until we clear those levels, there's only more reason to expect that it's going to do the same thing that it's been doing. But the one thing I do like is the fact that if we come back down here to this 2017 consolidation, we have retested all of that. This last sell-off was really us retesting that. And in my opinion, we don't necessarily need to go lower. I like what we're seeing here. We do have good volume. Obviously, the volume is going to differ from exchange to exchange, so everybody has their own bias. I'm personally long-term bull. I think that there's more reasons to be bullish. Now, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let's actually jump into the Bitcoin analysis for all the people that are wanting to find out what I think moving forward with this. So here we are, guys, taking a look at Bitcoin on the dollar. Now, Bitcoin on the dollar, look at this big green candle that we got in here over the last day. This is exceptional. This is exactly what we wanted to see. There was a lot of fear. There was a lot of foam. There was a lot of fear, and there was a lot of uncertainty with this initial crash that we just experienced not too long ago. And now we're seeing such a good buyback. And so let's actually throw it back out and take a look here. Look at this green candle on the monthly time frame. This is absolutely beautiful, and it makes me very excited to be a long-term holder of Bitcoin. When we're seeing such strong, when we're seeing strength in the market like this, it really is a positive sign, especially considering with everything that's going on in the world today, everything that has happened over the last month. It's very, very important that we're seeing this sort of price action in Bitcoin, because obviously, guys, everybody's been calling Bitcoin a risk-on asset, and to be quite honest, I disagree with them. And we're starting to see the reasons why I disagree about all of those things. Now, if we take a look here, let's draw our levels. Let's take a look at the yearly support at 6,400. So we're going to take a look here at the $6,400 level. This was the New Year support before we bounced and then sold for one more low. And from that point, you know, this monthly candle ended up closing all the way back above this level. And then our second monthly candle in April is actually closing and bullish engulfing the previous sell-off. This is such a good sign. Now, obviously, guys, we have until May 1st before this candle closes. That's not very much time. We got a few more days left until this candle closes. And if we can close as a bullish engulfing candle over this initial sell-off, that is going to set us up for a big rise. And to be quite honest, guys, if we're seeing such strength in Bitcoin right like this, we could see Bitcoin rally up to this 14K mark and potentially even close to that all-time high market, you know, 16 to 17K. And it might bleed the Bitcoin or the altcoin Bitcoin pairs to one more low. Similar to what I was just updating guys with XRP, how it appears we have the potential for a descending triangle that'll take us to one more low. If Bitcoin starts showing a lot of strength right here, it could very easily do that. So it's time to stay aware to that potential. Now let's drop it to a weekly time frame real quick. Now the weekly time frame, basically what I wanted to see was I wanted to see us close above this level at 5,300. And, you know, the weekly close got us above this level. The monthly close got us back above 64. And so this was all exactly what we wanted to see. As long-term bulls, this Bitcoin played out exactly as we wanted. Now let's actually draw it to a little shorter of a time frame. Let's go to a daily. And let's take a look here. And guys, we have a huge buyback that's ensuing inside of Bitcoin. This is exceptional. This is exactly and everything that we wanted to see here. I know that a lot of people were drawing shorts right here. A lot of people were showing that for some reason, though, even though we broke out of this the previous resistance at 7,400, they were showing that it was bearish. I've been updating you guys and have been saying that there was going to be a time in which we started correcting. But the thing is, now that we're seeing such big candles, and now is the time that I'm going to say to start paying close attention. If you're somebody that wasn't accumulating spot buys down here and you didn't buy when the initial crash happened, now's not the time in which you want to start buying. That's just what I'm going to say right now. You missed the boat, and that's just kind of your own mistake, and it's important to learn from those mistakes so that you don't make the same mistakes twice. It's what I've tried to explain to you guys after the crash. I said, do not panic sell. I was very adamant that the people that panic sold were going to seriously regret their decisions, and we are now way above the initial sell-off. We sold off right here. We're currently 10% above that level from the sell-off. So all the people that panic sold that sell-off are now at a loss, and you know they're going to be stuck on the sidelines waiting for new lows that will never come. And to be quite honest, this sort of a buyback is 100% confirmation that we're not going to get a new low. And I'm very adamant about saying that. I've been adamant that the bottom was in since $3,200. I was adamant that this entire move was a macro higher high. Even when we dipped all the way to 3,800, I was still buying that dip. Now that we're seeing this insane buyback coming from recent market structure, this is just blowing my mind, and it makes me very excited that what we're seeing here is a really bullish market. And let's actually go through here real quick and talk about some things. I have some levels that I wanted to share with you guys. Now, the level that I updated you guys with in times past, and this was actually the first level in which I accumulated spot buys during the dip, was $9,100. We can see that this was the primary support of this descending triangle before we actually sold and went lower. And this is actually an area in which I think will be very strong. We can see that after the initial correction, once we actually sold off from this level, that was a very strong rejection. And I expect this level to play out and be another area of high demand. And we're getting really close to that. And in fact, I think that that's going to take us to about that 786 range. Let's pull up our fibs here. Yeah, so 786 is going to take us right to that $9,100 level. And so that's what I'm going to be watching out for. I'm going to look for 9,100 and I'm going to look to 9,200. And that's realistically going to be my psychological resistance levels. And that's where I'm going to be watching for a top. I don't really want to try and short the market until we get upwards of this level here, because if I try to short it now, it just seems like it could be a little bit premature and I have the risk of getting stopped out. Even if we top out here, you know, it's better to just sit on the sidelines and have no trade than it is to jump into a trade in which you're uncertain about, because then you're more likely just going to lose regardless. I'd rather just wait until I have my confirmation within myself and it follows my personal trading plan. So I'm going to be watching out for this 618 region up here. But that's the thing, guys. I do expect that we're going to get a sell-off, whether it's at the top of right here, whether it's up a little bit higher. You know, we're going to have to watch and see, but I do expect that we're going to get a short-term correction very soon. And I've been saying that. We were going to see a correction at some point, and when that correction takes place, obviously nobody knows. The reason why I told you guys, I figured that the correction would take place somewhere around 7K. We didn't correct. In fact, we reclaimed this level. And because we didn't break through 6,400, I said that we could easily go higher, and that's exactly what we've done here. Now, we're seeing a lot of euphoric candles because these are just big green candles. That shows a lot of euphoria, which is the reason why I'm thinking that we're really close to having that correction. And so when we get that correction, what do I think can happen? Well, what I had updated you guys with previously was I said, well, when we get this correction, it's most likely that we're going to drop back down to 6,400, and we run the possibility of dropping as low as 58 to 53. And that's kind of what I said. Now, the fact that we got such a strong impulse changed up my trading plan a little bit. I said that if we got a strong impulse, it was likely that we weren't going to be able to break below the 6,400 level, and that's what I'm going to continue to stick to my bias with. I personally do not believe that we are going to break through that level. I think that it's more likely that we're going to hold support on that, and I'll explain to you guys why. Let's drop it to a weekly time frame really quickly, and let's pull up our line tool. Now, $6,400 is right here. That's about the average of this 6K support cluster before we went to new lows, and this was the support of the new year as well. The fact that we're back above inside of this kind of range of this 14K to 3.8K, I think we'll sell off about 70 or 9,100, and then we'll start that short-term correction back down, right? I don't know how crazy it's going to get. This is actually on a weekly time frame, and so let's drop it to a daily so the time frames line up a little bit more accurately, because this is way too long. I think that we'll see something like this. We'll impulse up a little bit. We'll kind of get that sell-off. And then we'll go to back down to 64. And then that will kind of shake out all of the weak hands. All of the bears that are expecting for more downside are going to hold off on the sidelines, waiting for new lows to accumulate their bids. The new lows are never going to come. We're going to kind of stop out somewhere in this range, and then we'll kind of start back up in that new uptrend. And so that's what I'm going to be watching out for. With us heading into this halving, we're really close to this halving taking place really quickly, I think right here. So about May 10th approximately. Somewhere right around this range. I expect that we're going to sell off into the halving. A lot of people disagree with that. I personally think that that's what's going to happen. Now, if I'm wrong and we keep impulsing, I've already accumulated all my spot buys, so my investments are 100% hedged right now. It doesn't matter whether the market goes up, whether the market goes down. I'm making money regardless, and I've set my strategy up to sustain my profitability regardless of what way market goes. If we start to top out at this level, I'm going to be looking for short opportunities, and then I'm going to be looking to really start to unload a lot more spot buys here at 6,400, because I believe that that's going to hold. Now, there's another scenario here. Maybe we don't go all the way down to 6,400. Maybe we reject up here, and then we just drop back down to 7K, which would be about right here. So it is possible that we could just drop to 7K, but realistically 7K to 6,400, that's a close enough range that I'm not even going to stress about that. And then we might see that buyback start taking place where we would go back up in that cycle. Now quickly, before we wrap up this video, I wanted to talk about something. This is a chart that I made a while back, well really just a couple days ago. But this is going to be taking a look at the current cycle of Tezos and the current cycle in Bitcoin. Basically, I said that Tezos is leading Bitcoin, and we can see that the market structure follows here. We get the bull trap, and then we can see Tezos capitulates before making its big impulse, and we can see that the two are following each other. Specifically, Tezos seems to be leading Bitcoin, but with this capitulation, I'm expecting that we could see another big buyback very soon. And if this is the case, the thing that would follow would be this pattern right here. If we overlay the Tezos chart over Bitcoin, this is honestly kind of what I'm expecting. We're going to go up to about 9K, approximately 9,100, 9,200, somewhere right around there, or we could stop right here. It literally doesn't matter to me. But regardless, we're going to sell back down. We're going to come back down and retest those New Year lows, which is also about the average of the 6K support floor. We're going to retest that after the halving. And then after the halving, we will really start breaking off. After the halving, I'm expecting us to have this little sell-off. About a month or two after the halving, we'll start that next breakout, and that next breakout is going to take us back upwards of 14K. And it could go even higher. We're just going to have to watch and see. But this is really the market structure in which I'm basing my analysis on. I foresee this happening inside of Bitcoin, and this is really the way in which I've been wanting to play this market. Obviously, during the initial capitulation, I figured it was more likely that we were going to go upwards of about 64 to 7K and then get this short-term correction. But the fact that we're showing such strength right now makes me much more confident in what we're actually going to see long-term, that we're going to actually break out and make an impulse very soon. So just wanted to give you guys some awesome analysis today. I wanted to update you guys on XRP, why I think that this is a really good investment, why I think this is undervalued in this time, and some levels in which we need to break before we can fully confirm a bull run. I also went through Bitcoin, showed you guys all of my trading plan with that. We talked about price, we talked about market structure. I gave you guys some different support and resistance levels to watch for. And so I think I've gave you guys about all of my plan. Just wanted to make sure that we're all updated. I want you guys to understand that yes, I am expecting a short-term correction to happen soon. If you were somebody that didn't buy the bottom and didn't buy during the correction, don't try and FOMO buy now. That's just some basic tips that I can give you. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Remember, if you want access to the Discord, all you got to do is click in the description of this video. There you're going to find the invitation link. It's free to join. However, on my Discord, I also offer some of my more exclusive content like the video course and Signal. So if you guys want access to either two of those packages, definitely message me on there and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. But with all that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll catch you in the next video. As always, peace out.